Like, because she's kind of quirky in a way, she has a really awesome and quirky fashion sense. We also kept the different coloured shoes. I actually wore something like that back in the school days, one red shoe, one blue shoe, so I feel her. Hi everybody, my name is Amanda Jermaine Sim and I'm a concept artist here working at Mighty Jaxx. And today we'll be talking about the making of Tiny Tina and Butt Stallion. Remember to like this YouTube video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any videos that we upload. So we at Mighty Jaxx here are really excited to share with you on this project we've been working on for a while now. Really hush-hush and top secret. So all of you know Tiny Tina from Borderlands, but now she's getting her own spin-off called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Tiny Tina and Butt Stallion. So this is something we've been working on for a really long time. She's this cute, mischievous, chaotic, very quirky kind of girl who's I think an explosions expert, like TNT and stuff, all that blowing up stuff. Yeah, she's an expert on that. And we're going to be talking about how we made this into a collector's toy. We want to make sure that we are true to the game art because Borderlands has this like really awesome lined art style there. So we wanted to try to put that into the toy itself. And I think I first drew her with that intro scene from Borderlands. So like when she's kind of being introduced as Tiny Tina, she kind of like pushes down on a little TNT plunger. So that was something that I drew before, and then from that it kind of transcended into what you see now over here. So this is actually really taking the aspect of what Tiny Tina Wonderlands is, because it's kind of like a looter shooter game, but with the aspects of Dungeons and Dragons. In this case, we really tried to keep the essence of what she is, even though she's kind of downsized, she's kind of chibi-fied. And this is actually something quite important because in the game itself, if you guys have seen the trailer, there's actually one segment of it where the characters are running around and they have this cute-ish kind of big head, small body thing running around like a tabletop overview thing, but also keeping the elements of what Tiny Tina is with her cute little apron, her dress. I think you guys recognize those looks from Borderlands itself. At the same time, she has now a witch's hat instead because she is the dungeon master. So her boots, right, like because she's kind of quirky in a way, she has a really awesome and quirky fashion sense. We also kept it there, the little plasters, the boots, the different coloured shoes. I actually wore something like that back in the school days, one red shoe, one blue shoe, so I feel her. So yeah, all the little details, her little backpack, her little scissors, you will see all of this in the sculpt itself. So we actually managed to get this down. Even the tiny little bit of the rabbit is there. So yeah, and I think if you notice, Butt Stallion's also standing on the dice. So if anybody is very knowledgeable on D&D culture, we all have these awesome dice. And because this is actually Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and she is the bunker master. So in this case, we also have dice here because most likely you will be playing with them, you will be using them. They are a major prop and staple in this game. So we wanted to really incorporate that in. Butt Stallion, right? In my mind, when I played the game last time, when I watched the walkthroughs and all the lore, I'm just going like, it's so pretty. Like, Butt Stallion is so pretty, you know, it's so shining and shimmering, and we wanted to try our best capture that iridescent, shimmering kind of look. So that's something to look out for definitely in the release of this toy. Like the whole look itself, right? It's not just a normal like one static character in the A pose, but actually they're doing something quite dynamic and getting the opportunity to actually design something for like, you know, a game I follow and stuff, downright everything. You know, it's like drawing it out, colouring it, seeing the 3D model itself being made and the paint job being done, it's wow. I'm just really happy to be a part of it actually. So after I finish all this concept art, the drawing to the colouring, I'm gonna like wrap it up over here on my side, and then we're gonna move on to Ian, who is our very talented 3D artist over here. And you're gonna see the magic that he does to bring this drawing to life.
When Sam first sent me the concept, it was Butt Stallion in a buckling pose. My first thought was like, oh man, there's no way this is gonna like balance on its own. We're gonna need like a strong foundation. I told it to Sam, Sam's like, okay, I'll add it in. After a few iterations, she sent it to me and I saw, okay, there's so much more things now. It's like a mountain, there's grass, there's dice, like, oh, okay, more work for me, but I kinda expected it to be big and grand, but holy shit, like, it's pretty complicated. I'm glad I'm doing it because it kind of stretched my creativity muscles a little bit. First off, as every artist need to do, we need to have lots of references. So I scoured through the internet, took screenshots from the game itself, look at all the textures, how they model stuff. I need to look at other 3D works and see how they do stylized rocks, stylized grass. So yeah, I get a lot of references. And Butt Stallion has braids and all that. I'm not a girl, so I don't really have braids, so I need to figure out how to sculpt braids. Yeah, and we also partner with Gearbox, talk to them really closely. They were kind enough to send us the game models itself, and I can actually use those game models to do a very quick block out, and that actually helped out a lot for me. What I use is, I use the 3D models that they provided, and then I gauged how Tina's face will look like, how her arms will look like, body shape, all this and that, but I also have to tie accordingly to Sam's chibi style, so I have to mix and match, and once that's done, and that's the blocking stage done. So detailing is exactly as how it sounds like. I spend many minutes, many hours just going through the fine details, zooming in, and then adding all the tiny little strokes, tiny scratches, this and that. Then for posing in 3D is just like actually moving an action figure. We actually move them by the joints so that you can like retain the proportions. Well, as I'm posing, I can actually like concurrently add on details, because sometimes when I'm posing, right, some parts gets hidden, some parts gets obscured, so I have to like adjust them on the fly. The challenging part about posing for Tina is because she's chibified, proportions are actually shorter. So when you have short legs, it's kind of hard to wrap your legs around a horse. So on the first version of Tina, when I make her sit on the horse, I can't actually wrap around the body. So it's kind of weird and it's kind of goofy. So I have to feedback that to Sam, and then we have to change the proportions a little for a second pass. But after the second pass, there is still more problems because legs, again, a bit too short. So one way I cheat it, actually break her anatomy a little and then just fit it nicely. So one way I hide the broken mess is by using a skirt, because she's wearing a skirt, so everything's on the skirt, you can't really see. So you can see here, she's like only 1/5 of the entire sculpt, and she's like the most details, the most colors, and yeah, I definitely underestimated the amount of time spent doing her compared to the rest of the entire sculpt. I said I can finish it in 2 weeks. It took me 3 weeks. Yeah. For printing, right, we actually can't print this whole thing as a whole because there's so many intricate parts, there's so many tiny gaps and all that. So things we can part separate are like tail, the base itself, the different dice, definitely Butt Stallion from the base, and then once the print is out, I hand it over to Kenneth and it's his turn to do his job.
Hi everybody, I'm Kenneth, the product engineer from Jaxx. So first and foremost, when the parts come separated, we have to prepare the parts. We decided to separate some of the key parts so that it can really speed up the painting process. It makes it a lot more straightforward so that we can block out the colors after the priming process, and then most of the main colors can be done using the airbrush, which is very efficient and very smooth. So that comes with a lot of sanding. This allows the surfaces to look as smooth as possible so that the prototype looks as close to the finished product as possible. And after that, we have to prime the product because this allows the paint to adhere to the product, and then we'll do the airbrushing stage as I mentioned previously. So after doing the airbrushing stage, it's time for the details. As you can see, Tiny Tina is really chock full of details, and we have to painstakingly paint in every single color and match it as close to the game as possible. Moving on to Butt Stallion, I think Butt Stallion was a very interesting process because I've never used this iridescent paint before. So it was a very good process for me to just try different iridescent paints to see how I can get it as close to the render as possible. And that process allowed us to really expand our repertoire of paints that we use so that we can use it for future projects as well. When we looked at the trailer and then when I look at the renders that the team has provided me, I really wanted to convey the sense that Butt Stallion is really made of diamond. The part that I took the longest for this project would definitely be the little details on Tiny Tina's eyes. In our process, of course, we could very easily have printed a decal and pasted it on. However, because we wanted to get the colors as accurately as possible, we had to paint it manually to make sure that the colors are accurate before we send it to the factory to get it reproduced. So now that Tiny Tina has already been completed, and all the colors have been approved, we can finally send this project to the factory so that it can be produced for all you guys out there.
So the team at Jaxx here has been working on this project for a really long time now, and we are just super excited to be a part of it and also to share this with you guys to the whole world. And we are so excited to just get our hands on this product as well as play the game, of course. So speaking of the game, every single order of Tiny Tina and Butt Stallion comes with an Epic Games store key. You can get this right now on pre-order on our website on mightyjaxx.com. So let us know how excited you guys are to get your hands on this collectible as well as the game. So leave a comment below, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys later. Bye!